Okay, Sarthak, what are you saying? My buddy is saying something. My friend calls me emotionally unavailable. I call myself awareness available. Where are you, buddy? I need to speak to you, man. Okay, I'm unmuting you. Yes.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Yes,
How's
buddy, tell me
everyone
now.
doing?
Who's calling you
Yes.
emotionally unavailable?
Oh, this is actually a very good. I'm glad you picked up on this.
Uh-huh.
So, a strange thing, and I can really resonate with what Steph is saying. I'm pretty much like in the same boat. I mean, I've gone through it, but it does come back every now and then. But then it's kind of like, it's like you know the climax of the movie,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like you're watching the same movie again. You know what the climax, you know the twist,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
almost like you just like it's playing in the background. You're doing your chores, and just the movie is going on, right? You've seen it a million times. This movie
Yeah.
is your favorite movie,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it won't stop. Every now and then repeating it. But let me tell you, sometimes what happens is you also like a lot of push people when you're talking with them, right? A lot of them unconsciously also project on you. Okay.
Yes.
So I have a friend, like in
Mm.
this specific instance. So I have a friend. Okay. Now I hang out with him, I go swimming with him, then we go for our drives. And he's like, he's a bit lonesome. I don't know why he feels that way, but he feels very lonely. He doesn't have a partner. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to get a partner for a very long time. He feels like that's going to make him happy, and he should strive for that 100%. But
Yeah.
sometimes what happens is in order to just feel comfortable, right? What he does is to be so emotionally unavailable, eh? You know what I mean? Why aren't you looking for somebody? Why aren't you
Mm.
getting involved with people?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm very clear on this. Like, I'm very clear on this. I'm just like, and he tries to argue, but, Arey, why won't you accept? Come on, you're in denial and all that. And I literally feel like he's talking to himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, no, you're right, man. I'm in denial. But let me ask you one thing, okay? Don't you feel like if somebody is interested in you and you're interested in them, right? Don't you think that happens
Yeah.
automatically? How can you
Exactly.
control that? You will
Exactly.
automatically get emotionally
Yeah.
engaged, let's say, if not involved,
Yeah.
with somebody you're attracted to on a deeper level.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
That's something I think keeps like repeating. It's like you're emotionally unavailable.
This
Like,
is this is the joke, buddy.
awareness available. That's what it
Exactly. This is the joke, buddy. Joke of life. That in an interaction between two people, it is not up to one. It is not up to one person how to control that interaction. It depends on the other person also. And generally, what happens is one is projecting on the other and the other is projecting on the one. So, what, like when you and me are talking, all right, you can get the best out of me, you can get the worst out of me, and vice versa. You know, it depends on how we talk, what is our tonality, how we interact with each other, how we see each other. Are we seeing each other from a wider lens, or are we seeing each other from a limited lens? You know, am I projecting something on you, imposing something on you, or am I being more relaxed in my own energy? Is your energy calm enough to let me be in my own energy? There are so many factors in an interaction which are beyond our control. So, it is very natural. In fact, I may have an interaction with a person who may call me depressed, or who may call me completely eccentric. You know,
Yeah, that
Jagjot is
too.
unpredictable. Sometimes he does this.
Weird.
Yeah. Now, and I'm that kind of person. I may eat vegetarian food for 6 months, and then one day I may just pick up something non-vegetarian and eat meat. It can happen with me.
I
And
just got food poisoning. I did that.
oh, really? Okay. I was lucky I didn't. I was lucky I didn't. Now, I was in the mountains. I was in the mountains, and it was cold, and it's a small village. It's called Kalga in the in the Himachal Pradesh region, and it is near Kasol, that area of
Right,
the.
right.
Now, it was a hike, and it's very difficult to get food up there. So I inquired, what's for food? So they said that most of it is finished, but we have some leftover chicken if you want to have. And in that moment, I didn't even think it. They brought it, I had it. Now, for some people, this will be like, oh my God, you have broken the law, the spiritual law.
Yes.
How can a person, spiritual person, do this? Eat non-vegetarian food? And then my reaction to that is, I'm first of all, I'm not a spiritual person. Who told you that I'm a spiritual person? Just because I
Big
talk about
assumption.
non-duality does not make me a spiritual
I'm
person.
not a spiritual person. I'm a rascal. Don't
Yes,
forget
I'm a
that.
rascal, of course. I'm a rascal, and you are the rascal that is bringing out my rascality.
Exactly.
you know so it is up to you, your interaction. And right now, see, it was the environment. At that point, it was cold. There was no other food option available, so I had what was given to me. Now, I'm not going to sit with myself and feel guilty about it because I've done that in the past. It doesn't help me. And sometimes, we have to understand that life does not present us with too many choices. Even the other person that we are interacting with, we have no control over how they perceive us. So your friend may have been too fixated with the idea that, oh man, you are emotionally unavailable person, and you know but it's his own movie which is running in his own background, and he loves that movie, and he
He
just
loves
keep.
that movie.
Yeah,
But in all, but he's aware of it.
he's
Like
aware
I
of it.
make
Yes,
sure he's
okay.
aware of
That
it.
is a different thing. That
No,
is
he's
what.
aware he's projecting.
Being trapped in a cycle is another whole another thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we can have
That's why I hang out with him.
exactly.
Otherwise, sorry, bye.
No, having, somebody could be a very reactive personality. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a different thing. Being aware of your reaction makes whole lot of a difference. Being unaware of your reactions can be. Generally, in relationships, when you're unaware of your actions, that is when actually the problems happen. When you're not even
mm,
aware of what you're trying to do, your subtle hints. But some people are so aware, they say, yeah, I do that. I sometimes
mm,
I use subtle remarks. I try to put on myself. I try to pull down the other person. It is my habit. Now there is a difference between that person. You still know that person is aware at that level,
yeah.
so you may still want to interact with him. And you know that he does that, and you also
Mm.
know that it's his habit, and you know when it's going to come up, so he's no more a threat to you.
And we can make jokes about it.
Yes, we can. And this makes, so awareness actually brings this beautiful interaction where we can accept people for who they are.
Yeah,
But yes, it can also happen the other way around. Some people can be very unaware. And in that context, it's perfectly okay to move away from them. Some people are so unaware and so
yeah.
deeply wounded that they can be a threat. Then, in that case, it is perfectly okay to move away also. Telling them Advaita concepts will not help in that given moment. It is not in their destiny. it is not in their understanding. In
The
fact, it,
greatest
it
thing
would
that
be.
is,
Yeah, it
go
would
ahead,
be a
sir.
disservice. It would be a disservice to give them Advaita teaching.
No, actually, you know what? Why I brought this up, Jagjot, is like I remember, like I used to like ramble on about how I've been, invariably I start talking about this because you, like you said, you're in that contemplation phase, right? So it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
comes out because that's what you're
Mhm.
thinking about all the time.
Yes.
But I'm so glad, the greatest, and this will happen. Let me tell you, this happens. At one point, you don't want to talk about it like at all with
Exactly.
anybody, and you
Exactly.
just want to be in it.
Exactly. That
That is
is
it.
that is deliverance. That is deliverance. When the mind stops and it says that this is also fine, that is also fine. If it
Yeah,
happens, it's fine. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. That is that is the understand. That is peace. Then it's peace. And of
yeah,
course, since mind will always come up with those thoughts that have been continuously going on in our, so if from morning to evening we are thinking about one particular thing, we are going to speak about that. It's but natural.
Mhm.
So I think it is all in an interaction between two people. To just recapitulate what we were saying, it is not up to one person. It's a dual, it's a dual, what do you call it, it's a dance of the
Dance.
dance can happen between two. It's like that. So we have no control over how they see us, but as long as there is this understanding between two people, everything can work out. This is what I feel. And I have relationships with people where this kind of dynamic happens, as you are mentioning.
Mm,
And the same thing happens there. Sometimes reaction happens. Sometimes it
mm,
happens from their end. Sometimes it happens from my end. But then, underlying that, there is this understanding that we both are aware of our
mm, mm.
reactions of what is
Yes.
happening. So we do not judge ourselves, first of all, that, oh, and we do contemplate on it sometimes. Oh, they're saying something because it is coming from this place right now, right?
Yes.
They're seeing me, they're choosing to see me in this light. And I can play along with that. I don't have to
Yeah.
fight it. Yeah. And and same, they're doing the same for me. So it is a beautiful
Yeah.
interaction. It is a harmonious interaction. Although on the
Yeah.
surface it may seem like that we are fighting, or it's a reactivity.
Yeah.
And again, when the awareness is there, you will notice that it is all momentary. One moment it
Yes.
happens, and next moment you're just good buddies and you forget about it. Come on, let's have food, let's do this, let's do
Yeah,
that.
that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. But when there is no awareness, when it is
Mm.
unconscious, then it lingers on in the mind.
It
He
lingers.
said that to me, I'm going to get back. And they sleep with it, they spend days with it, they spend
Mm.
months, sometimes they spend years planning, quote unquote,
Yeah.
revenge for an insult or a.
Revenge. Revenge is a dish best served cold, ऐसे बोलते हो. हाँ.
Yeah. They told me that like 10 years ago, they said this to me, and one day I'm going to. So,
Yeah, it's on the back of the
yeah,
freezer.
yeah,
Then one day they take it out.
yeah. One day. Everybody, they won't tell it to the person, but they will tell everyone else. And he said that to me at
Yeah.
that 10 years ago, and I still remember it.
Yeah. Ah, they do. They have. I'm like, I can't remember what happened yesterday. They remember things from 10 years ago.
Yeah. So this is the beauty of this whole thing. When there is a crack in the structure of the person, there is there is there is memory, but there is no registration.
Yes.
Because for registration, you require time. And to operate in time, you require separation, the sense of, you know, you require the whole faculty of me and my story for time to operate.
Story.
But when there is a crack in the structure, the story begins to crumble down. So there is no place to register anything. There's no nothing to keep here.
Yeah.
When I don't have any storage in myself, where will I keep stuff? But I do remember. Remembrance is there, and it's a good function. Sometimes you can. Sometimes it's if they get too nasty, that you can remind them. This is getting too much, and you need to tone down. But
Of
again, it is
course.
not registered by them. It is also not registered by you.
I have reactions, but they immediately drop after the scene is over.
That's the thing. So reaction, they come because of remembrance. No, that is natural. That is, if you touch a live wire, you will react. That reaction comes from remembrance. It is to protect you. It is your body's mechanism to protect you. Your nervous
And practice
system learns
sometimes.
that you should not go near fire, you should not touch a live
Yeah.
wire. So that remembrance is important. It helps us to live, it helps us to operate. But registration is a problem. It's like, I will, never even live in a house that has electricity because I got shocked when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That is registration. You see, I got insulted by this person in the job, therefore I'm never going to speak to him. I'm never going to get into
Yeah.
this job or this role. I'm never even going to get out of my house. That
Oh
is,
yeah.
just constant registration, living in hypervigilance and all of that stuff. I mean, it's a different topic, but that's the idea.
But back to my friend real quick. I think you'll enjoy this. So while we are swimming, right? He's always like he starts rambling, right? That's his nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Which I find amusing and like it's funny to me. So he starts rambling about, oh, this and that, and he said this and she said that. And then he's like, what should I do? I was like, you should, you should do whatever you think and feel you should do. Let me tell you, when
Exactly.
I say that to him, na, you know what he says? He looks at me and he's like, I love you. Nobody
Ex-
says this to me.
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's what we're trying to say. That's the
That's
whole
beautiful.
message. Do whatever you do because you are doing things with the understanding that there is no separate doer of anything. It is all
Yeah,
happening. So, in the
love this.
moment, everything will happen. The actions will happen and their consequences will also happen. In fact, there is a verse in Ashtavakra Gita, which let me, yes, it says, righteousness and unrighteousness, pleasure and pain are purely of the mind and are of no concern of yours. You are neither the doer nor the reaper of consequences. So you are always free. Now, with this understanding, enjoy the dance in the moment, enjoy everything that happens in the moment, and know that you're always free. That means you do not register, you do not live with that registration, with that resentment in your heart. That is the whole idea.
And people, the other people around you, like especially this friend, let's take his example.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm with him, sometimes he cancels on me. I'm like, okay. And then sometimes I cancel on him. He's like, okay. And then he meets me and he's like, you know what? Mera koi aur, if there was another friend of mine, right? He would have at least given me grief for a week. Eh? And you don't seem to give me any grief. Eh? It's so like easy being around you. I love you, bro. And then I turn around and tell him this is the best relationship you ever had.
Actually,
Like
yes.
if I can only get a girl like this, my life would be set.
Well, bro, don't count on it. That might be different.
Don't count on it. That's what I said. This is as good as it gets.
Yes. Enjoy what you have right now. That may be
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
Well, okay. So, to conclude, the whole idea is that what happens is not in any individual's control as such.